Gender-based political violence may be a term that is unfamiliar to many, but it is the intimidation and targeting of women in politics used mainly to discourage them from participating in politics. Women representation in parliament, the executive, political parties and the safety and security of women during the election season were some of the issues that were raised at an event hosted by the IEC at the country's symbol of democracy, the Constitutional Hill. Although 55% of the 27.6 million registered voters are women, women representation in parliament sits at 43%, while standing at 21% in the National Council of Provinces.
I have done a lot of research on women, peace and security and how security or lack of security affect women's participation in elections. A recent example of the attack on former KZN Premier and now Deputy Minister of Higher Education's attack on her house. What does that say to other women aspiring to be in politics? And I liked what you have mentioned about your province, because statistics also indicate that in South Africa, provinces that have relatively higher representation of women at senior level in local government elections, the Free State and Northern Cape, while KZN and Western Cape are performing badly. Look at the violence in those provinces.
The IEC Deputy Chairperson says South African women should see the failure of governance as an opportunity for them to actively participate in elections, further adding that with service delivery being a problem at the local sphere of government, women should see that as an opportunity for them to save the situation.
I think really what we're saying is, the point is that it's the women who are the force of this country, who will make this country the kind of place we need. And if in the process and in the course of elections, maybe not everything that they've wanted has turned out the way they've wanted, the answer is not to stand back. The answer is to push forward with even greater resistance.
Women who also participate in politics had this to say.
But what we must also remember is that we were able to participate in the negotiations because of working together as political parties and other women's formations. We worked together. But after the elections, we went back to our parties and we forgot about issues of gender equality and gender and equity.
It will help for us to depoliticize civic education around the role of government and their performance. And so that's just something I think the IEC might want to consider.
Everyone was so annoyed with us just working the ground and as the Patriotic Alliance wanting to take over that specific ward for that by-election. There was a picture of the two of us that trended, and they said to us, I can't remember, Melissa, what did they say we are? We are the fat kids. You can see, Mosam, not the skinniest person in the room. They said to us, we are the fat kids. And then when I checked that picture, I said, you know what? If I was not a person who is comfortable in my own skin, this thing would have killed me. You know?
As women in the political spaces, are we not the enablers of the system? Are we not the actual culprits that enable men to be so comfortable in, stepping on each other to get to the top?
Some young women are of the view that they should be at the center of the country's political governance.
You can't want to influence something that you never participated in. It's like walking into the room and saying, this room should have looked like this. But when you are given the opportunity to define how the room should look like, you decided to stand outside the gate.
We need effective leadership. We need accountable leaders. Now that is where young people can rise and say, now we're actually interested in this. Because remember, the future of this country is young people. So if we invest something that is a risk on its own, we're placing our futures in a risk.
A clarion call has been made by attendees for women across all political parties to unite, as the class of 1956 did, to champion the struggles that women face in the political arena. For SABC News, I'm Natasha Piri in Johannesburg.